And now a little story. It happened long ago, in deepest, coldest winter. I remember there was 4 kings.
Hello, James Stephanie Sterling here, able to lactate with a modicum of effort, here to talk about controversy and journalism and ethics, all the things that gamers TM love. Also, I think they've stopped now, but if you hear any explosions in the background, don't worry, we're not in a war yet. It was just fireworks night the night before we're filming, which means a lot of people are letting off fireworks tonight because they're twats. We're going to be talking about advertorials today, so staying on theme, this is on topic. Here's an advert quickly for Spectrum Wrestling. It's on November 19th in Sheffield. You can get tickets at buytickets.at/spectrumwrestling. Enjoy the video. I don't think they noticed that I slipped an ad in there.
2, 4, 6, 8, 10.
You lovely lot!
12, 14, 16, 18, 20.
You're on the spot!
Sometimes I am stuck for days scratching my head about what the next subject for a video shall be. Other times, an idea simply falls with gratefully received convenience into my sexually potent lap. Today's episode is the result of the latter scenario, as I was recently approached by author, video producer, podcast co-host and Jimquisition subtitler Laura Kate Dale with a conundrum of professional etiquette and potentially dramatic consequences. See, she had received a PR email for the latest Call of Duty game, Modern Warfare 2, a game neither of us ever planned to cover due to the whole thing about Activision Blizzard abusing its employees with a veritable smorgasbord of bigoted bullying, sexual harassment, and a CEO that literally threatens to have assistants murdered. The very fact Laura got an email asking if she'd like a copy of the game for promotional purposes is bitterly fucking hilarious, but the comedy of the situation was undercut by an ethically sketchy proposition contained within the offer. Getting in touch to see if you'd like a Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, said the email. Written exactly like that. If so, let me know the best platform for you, and I'll send a code over. I have also attached some features we have put together in case you're interested in publishing. As promised, there were indeed a number of features provided by marketing firm Hill Plus Knowlton Strategies. As in, there were whole entire articles this PR company had written for the express purposes of redistribution. Essentially, they had already produced coverage of the game and was offering a number of pre-written articles for journalists to post, without the need for disclosure, as if it were their own work. There was no explicit expectation to republish the work, but certainly no problem if a writer chose to do so and pass it off as if they'd written it themselves. It's an offer I could only describe as, well, consensual plagiarism. And given that we've already noticed a blog repost one of these things, I thought you might like to know about this shit so you can keep your eyes peeled and maybe spot some consensual plagiarism out in the wild yourselves. The articles helpfully offered for suspicious republication are: How to spend your first week on Call of Duty registered Modern Warfare registered 2. Call of Duty registered Modern Warfare registered 2. Top tips for playing multiplayer, the best Modern Warfare registered maps over the years. And everything you need to know about Call of Duty registered Modern Warfare registered 2. As you might expect, the writing contained within each example is pretty fucking insipid. No offence to whomever the original author may be, but it's such blatantly shallow marketing fluff that any decent journalist should be offended at the suggestion such vapidity could be passed off as their own. A brand new game can sometimes be a taunting prospect, reads the first offering. Where to start? Multiplayer? Campaign mode? The huge offerings from Call of Duty registered Modern Warfare registered 2 means there's so much to get stuck into, and players often want to try everything all at once to get their COD fill. To help, we've compiled a handy guide for those who are unsure where to begin, what to do first, and how to get the best out of the game in your first week, ensuring you go from zero to hero quicker than a soldier with the fast hands back. The whole thing reads like a desperate advert, because that's literally what it is. Experiment! There are new maps, new guns, new game modes, a new gunsmith system. New. Your first week in game should be a chance to get to know the different weapons, from an M4 to a Fennec 45. Your best bet is to change your loadouts and see what gets you the most kills. From this, you can develop your playing style. Are you a camper with a sniper? Do you get on the front foot with assault rifles? Or do you sit back with a rocket attempting to blow up anything? Everything is written in this manner. Not necessarily read in that manner. It's less subtle than a clown nail-gunning his dick to a table. That any of it was dribbled onto digital paper in the first place is sad. That it's believable any journalist would happily republish it is fucking embarrassing and something of an indictment of the entire industry. Seriously, a professional who receives this email should feel nothing but insulted that anybody thought they'd be up for doing something so unethical, or at the very least, thought so little of their own work they'd want their byline next to such drivel. Like, leaving aside the ethics of the situation, I am fucking furious at Hill plus Knowlton's strategies for thinking Laura Kate Dale would ever attach her name to articles as banal, bromidic, and just plain fucking weak as this. They know she's got multiple books published, right? That she's an accomplished writer. That she's possessed of enough dignity and pride to not want anybody to think she penned such trash as, first things first, players must get their settings right. Get your aim sensitivity sorted early on, your button layout perfect, and your lighting and audio on point, and you'll be on top of the leaderboards in no time. Without your settings sorted, you could find yourself on a 0.1 KD ratio and none of your friends will want you on their team E. The kill cam will be on your screen on repeat, and it won't be fun for anyone, except the other team. Play a few games, and after a session, increase your sensitivity by 1 and see how you get on. Do this each time until it gets too fast. Top tip, never compare your sensitivity to others. It's got fucking typos in it. None of your friends will want you on their team E. Their team E? What the fuck is E? Is it Magic E? Oh shit, is it Magic E?
You need me, I'm Magic E. Magic E. Magic E. A strip gets a stripe with me, a pip makes a pipe with me. Here, what you do with me, add Magic E. Magic E. Words change around with me. When they are found with me, hear how they sound with me. I'm Magic E. Magic E. A pin makes a pine with me. Twin becomes twine with me. Hear what you do with me. Add Magic E. Magic E. Words change around with me. When they are found with me, hear how they sound with me. I'm Magic E. Magic E.
Anyway, you will have noticed that I mentioned One Geek Blog already posted one of these articles without any mention that it was written for them. I am well aware that most viewers would also like me to name and shame them, but for sensitivity reasons I'm going to refrain. Basically, Laura contacted the editor in question, who promptly felt fucking naive after it was pointed out that they'd published an advertorial. They had not considered it such until it was explicitly explained to them, at which point they promptly took the article down. Given that the site was not a big one in the least, and having been told about some personal life issues affecting the author and their potential decision making, we've decided it was enough that we got the article taken down, and to simply inform you that, as pathetic as the pre-baked articles in question are, there are people in games media not only gullible enough to repost them, but to do so without even considering it spreading glorified marketing script. H&K Strategies itself looks like a pretty bog-standard marketing outfit, the kind of third-party firm used by video game publishers all the time. H&K does a lot of work for companies that want to advertise how progressive they are, such as when Ford plastered a lot of gay stuff all over a car, or when Twitter launched a feminine Arabic setting to promote inclusivity for all genders. And inclusivity I'm sure its new owner would have some sort of problem with because he's a cunt. H&K also proudly boasts of raising global awareness of Sweden, which, as the billboard on its site says, is more than an IKEA toilet brush. That is a message I can get behind. IKEA does really good hot dogs too. As far as games, near as we can tell, the company only represents Activision Blizzard, and according to the dozen emails Laura's received from them in the past, this is the first time they've attempted consensual plagiarism. Last year they offered her Call of Duty Vanguard, but it was explicitly marked as review code, rather than simply a free copy with the vague expectation of free marketing in return. Activision Blizzard is a corrupt, rotten, grossly underhanded publisher, that much is a given. In fairness, it's likely they had no direct hand in offering these articles to journalists. It's just as fair to suggest, however, that they don't give a fuck whether it happened or not. This is what major game publishers do, after all. They farm marketing out to any number of PR firms whose entire job is to spread thinly veiled commercials far and wide, filling the internet with milkily written, search engine friendly spiel. That's their job, and they're good enough at it that these companies have been around as long as I first started in games journalism back in the mid-2000s. H plus K. I don't expect you to change what's clearly working out for you. You're marketers, and I can no sooner expect you to change your tactics as I can expect a baby to not shit its diaper. But I'd really like if in future you'd not insult my friend by suggesting she'd want anybody to think her responsible for your tedious prose. Also, none of us on this side of games media want anything to do with Call of Duty or a publisher that bullies workers, ignores sexual misconduct allegations, and circles the wagons around a CEO who knew about and actively took part in all of it. Thank you. Drink my pee! I'm magic-y! I'm curious, actually. I've not checked out the reviews because I can't be fucked. But I am curious if we're at that portion of the games media abuse coverage cycle where we're seeing reviews of games that are being published by abusive companies like Activision Blizzard that are now no longer mentioning, even as a token aside, the horrific amounts of abuse we see at those companies. This is a pattern we've seen with Ubisoft, where Far Cry or Assassin's Creed reviews come out now and nobody mentions the uncomfortable fact that Ubisoft promoted and still protects sex abusers. Maybe that's a fun thing you can do on your own time as a bit of homework. Just read some reviews for Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 and see how many people mention that Activision's workplace environment was so abusive, was so rife with bullying, that one worker actually took her life. Sorry to bring the mood down. I know you want to talk about just how much fun those video games are. Do you remember Magic Key or not? Nostalgia. As another reminder, just because, well, I put a lot of investment in it and so I hope it's successful, we've got our second Spectrum Wrestling show, Kaleidoscope. What a great name. That's in Sheffield on November 19th. We can confirm that I'll be there wrestling with Priscilla as a tag team, Queens of the Space Age, also a brilliant name. We're fighting the Freak Show. We've got the Landed Gentry turning up. We've got Axel Strife. We've got Gentleman Jim. We've got Simon Miller has confirmed. It's going to be chuffing great. You can get tickets at buytickets.at/spectrumwrestling. My other wrestling dates, just to get those out of the way, this coming weekend, November 12th, is Avant-Garde Wrestling in Newcastle. November 20th in Leicester is a Wrestling Resurgence. And then we've got some other dates coming up. The only one I can really talk about right now is February 5th in 2023. That's in Manchester, Sovereign Pro Wrestling. That's about it for those dates. Apologies to those of you who wanted to watch me this past weekend for True Grit Wrestling. That got postponed. But thank you to everyone who turned up to the Wharf Chambers for a drink anyway in Leeds. Especially those of you who said that you'd put me on your list of young trans femmes to model your look after. That was really fun before I told you my age. I think that's it. All that remains to be said is the usual, which is... thank God for me.
A strip gets a stripe with me, a pip makes a pipe with me. Hear what you do with me, add magic, magic E. Magic, magic E. Words change around with me when they are...